Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And you know the NFL season is coming close when certain articles come out. Like today, ESPN posted their top 100 players for the upcoming season. We've seen numerous websites post their 53-man projections. Of course, cut day is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. But in this video, we're going to look at the Athletics NFL quarterback tiers 2024. I'm not going to share the article because it's behind a paywall, but I will go over their results. So they put the quarterbacks in different tiers. They had 50 coaches and executives give their takes on what tier they belong in. So it was actually 7 general managers, 8 head coaches, 12 coordinators, 12 executives, 8 assistant coaches, and 3 involved in coaching analytics. They placed 30 veteran quarterbacks in the 5 tiers: best tier 1, worst tier 5. Rookies were excluded. Let's go into the results. So tier 1 was an average of 1 to 1.5 tier. Just 3 names made it. I believe 5 did last year. Mahomes, unanimous choice for tier 1. Does that surprise anyone? It shouldn't. Joe Burrow received 43 tier 1 votes, 7 tier 2. And Josh Allen, the only other tier 1 quarterback, he received 39 tier 1, 10 tier 2, and 1 tier 3. Now, the Athletic defines tier 1 as a tier 1 quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations. He has no real holes in his game. One could argue Burrow, maybe his hole is availability. Josh Allen has some games where he's turnover prone, but I can't necessarily say I disagree with any of these 3. The one guy I probably would have included in here, I know that people will say he has his postseason warts, is the guy who landed on the top of tier 2. So tier 2 actually consists of 10 quarterbacks. Now, tier 2 is defined as can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situations in doses and or possesses other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above tier 3. He has a hole or 2 in his game. Tier 2 is 1.5 to 2.5 tier average from the voters. Jackson was just shy of that at 1.6. He received 23 first tier, 26 second tier, and 1 third tier. Herbert, I believe, Herbert and Rodgers were tier 1 last year. And you can understand why both declined. I mean, Herbert will be interesting because the Chargers do not have a clear number 1 receiver. Gone are Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Quentin Johnston really struggled as a rookie first-round pick in 2023. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers, 40 plus now, played just 4 snaps last year before he tore his Achilles. It's actually, Athletic mentions, it's his first time dropping out of tier 1 in 11 tiers appearances. He actually received the most, his most votes came in tier 1, 23 in tier 1, 18 in tier 2, 7 in tier 3, and 2 in tier 4. I'm not sure why you'd vote him tier 4. I think I would vote him as a strong tier 2. Otherwise, I can't complain about any of these guys being tier 2. The order, I might have put Stroud ahead of Rodgers and Herbert. I get it's only 1 season, but just a spectacular rookie year. Jalen Hurts, I'm expecting him to rebound somewhat. Eagles definitely have a stellar offense surrounding him, and Brock Purdy, always that debatable guy. And if we look at the tier results for Purdy, 34 tier 2 and 16 tier 3. So about 2/3 of the votes for tier 2. Tier 3 is described as a legitimate starter but needs a heavier running game and or defensive component to win. A lower volume, drop back passing offense suits him best. Now, the top guy on here, I don't know if that definition really describes him, Tua. I mean, the Dolphins are definitely not a low volume passing offense. I mean, he just lead the NFL in passing yards? I believe he did. Um, they do have a nice running game, of course, Chan and Raheem Mostert. So that's a two-headed monster. That was great. The defensive component. I mean, they're pretty average defense. So I'm not sure that definition describes him, but he was exactly 2.5. So 24 tier 2, 26 tier 3. So one more tier 2 vote, and he probably would have risen to tier 2. Trevor Lawrence, disappointing season last year as a Jaguars. Looked like they were easily going to win the AFC South, faded at the end. Kyler Murray's got his number one, Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll see how that affects him. Deshaun Watson, man, I mean, he was excellent with the Texans, borderline tier one guy, but we just haven't seen it with Cleveland. And the guy he replaced in Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, definitely had a better season than him last year. Russell Wilson dropping far in the past 2 years, just reaches tier three. There were no tier five guys. These are the tier four. Tier four is defined as unproven player or a veteran who ideally would not start all 17 games. Um, yeah, I could say that all of these guys kind of fit that definition well. The unproven players would be Anthony Richardson, who got hurt early in his rookie year, Will Levis, who started, about half of his rookie year, Bryce Young, not unproven. I'm sorry, he is unproven. A very subpar rookie season. Hasn't proven that he could do it at the top level after being the first overall pick last year. And then veterans not starting all 17 games ideally. Daniel Jones, Justin Fields. The Bears are the only team that had two quarterbacks on here. I think Wilson's going to start week one. As you see, he was slightly higher than Fields. Gardner Minshew will start week one, but Aiden O'Connell could get some starts if the Raiders get off to a slow start. Sam Darnold, of course, was expected to start the year with the Vikings, but may start the whole year now that J.J. McCarthy's out for the year, and Brissett should be starting week one. And Drake May will likely get some starts as the year goes on, as New England isn't really expected to be competitive. Although I don't know if I would rank Brissett last in here because, to be honest, he was good. The last time we really got a bunch of starts that came in 2022 with the Cleveland Browns when Deshaun Watson was suspended. You could definitely argue that Brissett was actually playing better than Watson in that season. But what are your thoughts on the Athletics quarterback tier rankings for 2024? Just three quarterbacks reached tier one. The highest risers were Brock Purdy and Jordan Love, who both went up 13. And actually, I did not show Jordan Love. Jordan Love was ranked 14th. He might have just not been in the picture. He was the lowest in tier two, below Kirk Cousins. I would have had him, definitely higher than 14th. To me, he's borderline top 10 quarterback. Stellar year last year, but moving up 13 spots is impressive, as did Purdy. The guy who fell the most, Trevor Lawrence, fell 7 spots, and Deshaun Watson fell 6. Who was most overrated? Who was most underrated? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.